Hey guys, so I'm doing this off the cuff. Um, I just want y'all to know a little bit about me personally, not some just random day of life YouTube thing. Just from me to you, where I started, where I'm at now. Um, and this is gonna be a multiple part series, so I'm gonna try to keep them, 10, 15 minutes a piece about my personal life, my business, and whatever else. So moving on, I don't have a crazy story. I wasn't born across the tracks. I've got two wonderful parents, uh, my mom and my dad. They love me very much. Personal note: my dad was the first person that my mother ever kissed. So I just I don't have like a crazy story. You know, my dad's a double engineer. My mother's got her doctorate in child nutrition. So both my parents were highly educated. And then I came along. Yeah, all of this came along. And college wasn't for me. It's crazy because my parents spent collectively 2 decades in college. And then I came along and I was like, yeah, no, I really don't even care about high school, much less what's after high school, which I graduated from high school, class of '05, Pontotoc, Mississippi. And then I went to Itawamba Community College. I graduated from Itawamba with a welding certificate, and I tried to get a job in welding. Everybody in welding wanted like 5 years experience, all these certifications, everything else, and I was just like, all right, nah, never mind, don't worry about it. So anyway, so my dad worked for a co-op, an electrical co-op, for a long time, and obviously I always want to do what he was doing, working around power lines. So hold on. Saw some guys working around the power lines. I was like, hey, they're working around the power lines. Let me go talk to them. So I go talk to them. Turns out they're right of way, ROW, right of way contractors. Well, I get a job with them. I'm like 19, you know. So, and they were like, yeah, we'll give you a job. So I get a job with them. I start out on feeding a brush chipper, chip and brush. $7.50 an hour, which was actually really good at that time because minimum wage had just went up to $7.50 an hour. Had I started like 6 months prior to that, it would have been $5 an hour. This is 2006 range, 2006, somewhere around that neighborhood. And I started out with some bad guys. And I say bad, like bad as in good. Like that, just man, like some tree guys that they have been doing tree work for a long time, and little young 17, 18, 19, 20, 22-year old kids, they would literally chew up and spit out. Like, I pit, a pit, a pit. I mean, the company I got a job for, I'm not going to tell you the name of the company, but you had to be about your business and ready to go at any time. So, what I mean by that is that there were a lot of nice people there, but if you wore your heart on your sleeve, or you couldn't keep up, or you just didn't pull your own weight, or you wasn't ready, you better start kicking some rocks, son, because they're gonna chew you up, and they're gonna feed you to the bushes over there. And I worked with a lot of really nice guys, and I worked with a lot of really not nice people. By not nice, I mean they came to work mad at the world, and if you were a subordinate under them, that means they were mad at you as well. So I took a lot of tongue lashings that were not my fault. I squared off with several people because I had to stand up for myself. And I'm not a big guy. I'm not. I'm 5'7", 5'8". At that time, I was probably about $150. And I squared off with some homeboys that was, 6 foot, 6'2", 200, that was talking to me in a way that I didn't really like. And I let them know, you want this? Let's go. I ain't saying you can't do it. All I'm saying is if you want to, you're going to have to. The people that know what I'm talking about, they'll know. Thank y'all. The people that don't, y'all don't worry about that. So, I came into the business, I came into Tree Life. Right there. Tree Life. Came into that, like I said, about 2006. And I decided then, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna be the best. I'm gonna learn every single aspect of it. I'm not gonna sit down here and be a grunt for the rest of my life. I'm not feeding this brush chipper for the rest of my life. I will if that's what it takes to pay the bills. But I realized real quick, hey, half these guys don't have driver's license. Half of them got 5 felonies. Half of them, aren't even legal. 2006 now. Okay. No offense to anyone, by the way. Just telling you what I came through. When I got my CDL, I got like a $3 raise. Because half the other people didn't even have a license. Anyway, I'm chasing a rabbit. All right. So, I told myself, if this is what I'm going to do, I'm going to be the best I can at it. If I'm baking cookies, I'm going to be the best dadgum cookie baker I can dadgum bake. So I would literally go chip brush all day. 10 hours a day, 4 days a week. And behind some bad to the bone tree guys. When I tell you these guys, they knew how to cut a tree down. They were not educated. Half of them didn't have a license. Half of them were on drugs or pills or whatever. But I promise you, they could cut a tree down. I was the guy, me and several other folks were the guys that had to pick those trees up while they sat and watched. And I'm also the type of person. I always told myself back then, I said, as long as I outwork the guy next to me, I will never be last. So, as long as I outwork you, I will never be last. And that's the mentality I took. So I made sure I worked harder than every single person beside me. I learned how to drive the truck. I learned how to back a chipper in a Walmart parking lot while my foreman was cutting a tree down that was a no cleanup across the street. I put cones out in the parking lot. He didn't tell me to do this. I did it on my own. We showed up to the job. I said, hey man, what you need? Where you want me to put the chipper? He said, no, it's no cleanup. Go. Bye. Go find yourself somewhere else. I said, okay. So there was an abandoned Walmart across the street. So I drove over there and I put cones out in a line and in a little zigzag and over here. And I started just backing the chipper everywhere. And the guy that was riding with me said, man, what are you doing? I said, I'm learning this. I said, I don't know how to back this. I've never backed a little short tongue, single axle, heavy trailer like this. This mug freaking cuts, faster than a New Yorker. I don't know how to do this bull crap. So, and I sat over there, and it was actually a hard takedown. He had a couple hours of roping, couple hours of this, that, the other. It's like a half a day he had to spend over there on this, like, just the top half of this tree. So instead of sitting there on my phone or twirling my thumbs or whatever, I spent the next 5 hours just pulling the truck forward, backing it up. Pulling the truck forward, backing it up. Till I figured out how to back a chipper. So fast forward. Yeah. Okay. So fast forward. I went into the military. And hold up, time. So with that company, they realized that I was actually like trying to advance. So I started out riding the chipper. Then I progressed to driving the chip truck. Then I progressed to a bucket. Then I progressed to a bucket foreman. Then I progressed to a giraffe groundman. Then I progressed to a giraffe foreman. And by the end of it, I was running my own crew. I had my own crew truck. And it was all because I set out to be the best. And I said, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to be the best, or I'm not. And if I'm not, I'm not. But I'm not going to go into something half-heartedly. And the company realized that. So then I went into the military. When I went into the military, I spent 4 years in there. Then I came back. I did my 4 years, got out. Then I came back. And got a job with Aspen. Everybody's heard of Aspen. Showed up with Aspen. And they said, well, what can you do? And I looked at them and I said, well, I can operate. Not operate. I said, I can run. Productively run anything you got. I said, but the job I'm applying for is your giraffe foreman. And they said, really? I said, yeah. What experience do you have? I said, well, I've already got about 3 years experience of operating a giraffe. I said, I got about 2 years of experience out of a bucket. And I got about 5 or 6 years, of just random other tree work somewhere else. So, okay. So, they sent a guy down. I'm not going to say his name. His first name starts with a V. If he ever watches this, he knows what I'm talking about. And he's an awesome guy. Still love you, dog. Anytime you need anything, you let me know. I got you. So he came down here on a Monday. Started with me on a Monday. Tuesday afternoon, after watching me for 2 full 10-hour days, he called the headquarters of the company back and he said, hey, this guy can actually do what he says he can do. Like, do you still need me down here or can I just go? Because this guy can run the machine and his crew by himself. He doesn't need me here. And I would rather just go home. So, the company, which was very complimentary to me, and I really appreciate it. So, thank you. I appreciate you, Doc. And he wasn't lying. Also, look, I'll be the first one to tell you, I'm not the baddest guy out there. I'm not the best out there. I'm not just God's gift to tree work. I'm not. I'm not. I try to do the best I can every time I can. And I try to be a sponge. I try to soak up knowledge. Any more knowledge I can get, I try to just keep soaking it up. First day I was working with Aspen, they gave me a book. It's about 500 pages long. It's essentially the Bible to tree work. Other than, wait, I got it right here. That wasn't planned. I actually do have it right here. Gerald Baranix. This is the 25-year edition. But yeah, so this is the Bible to tree work. Aspen's book is the other Bible to tree work. Seriously, that wasn't planned. That was just this book's just in my saw shop. His original book's in my safe that's in the house. Anything you need to know about tree work? In this book. Right here. Printed freaking 27 years ago. And it's still relevant. So, but my wife called me crazy because when I started working for Aspen and I started running the giraffe for them, somebody's here. Oh, That's my mother-in-law with my daughter. I'm going to have to pause this and I'll be right back. Alright, where was that? I have no idea because I'm doing this video one take at a time and it's getting kind of long. I know my mother and father-in-law came and dropped my daughter off. Oh yeah. Alright, so we're back. Sorry, I have bad allergies. Anyway. So I got a job with Asplin. Told them I was the best ever. Not really the best ever, but, you know, just told them I could do whatever they wanted me to. Ended up about a year later, they promoted me to general foreman, which is a significant step up. Well, fast forward on, I got a job with a co-op. Great pay, or pay was okay, but great benefits, great retirement, guaranteed 40 hours a week. Like I said, pay was, you know, nah, but all the rest of the stuff made up for it. And then it got to the point, and this is where I'm going to end this one. Now, big thing I need to tell you. Big thing. With S&S and in my time with the military, and I was doing tree work on the side when I was in the military. And then when I was with Asplin, way back, like, you know, so came into the tree world like 2006-ish. Got with Asplin 2015-ish. Okay. I started watching YouTube videos. I would literally go cut trees all day, and then I would come home and I would eat my supper and watch YouTube videos on how to cut trees. Like, I mean, I just spent, and my wife thought I was crazy, which she knew I was crazy, because I would go spend 10 hours a day trimming a mile, or, you know, 2 miles or 3 miles or whatever it was of line a day in a giraffe, or out of a bucket, or climbing, or whatever. And then I would come home and I'd watch YouTube videos on how to cut trees. Who were those YouTube videos by? I'm glad you asked. August Honeckey. Oh gosh. Reg Coach. Man, like, I've watched their videos multiple times. The guy in New Zealand, Kiwi Climbers. Man, these guys, Popular Mechanic. Dang. Not popular, Poplar Mechanic. Like, I mean, just like, I would study their videos over and over and over again. Study what harness they're climbing on, what saw they're using, what angle their saw is at, how, you know, everything about it. August Honeckey did a tree, or did a video, like, Bad Trees 3 or something, Bad Trees 4. No, it wasn't Bad Trees 3. It was like Tree Over Deck. And he had to rope this thing just every which way and the other. And like, you know, had to have 2 or 3 different time points, had to, I mean, just everything. Just, I don't know, just Google Augustana bad tree over deck from about 7 years ago. And I've studied that video like 15 times. The funniest part that sticks out to me is at the end of the video, he's like, "Hey, Damien, what is this?" And Damien's like, "Oh, yeah, that's where I might have nicked that gutter with, whatever, 471 or whatever it was." And the homeowner walks over, he's like, "That'll be alright. I ain't worried about that." Well, you daggum right you're not worried about that. They just took this whole flipping tree down. He could have said something, okay, but, yeah, no. Anyway, I'm sorry. Yeah, yo, this video's nearly 30 minutes long. I guarantee you, probably nobody will ever watch it. Maybe to my kids one day. Hey, that's where Daddy came from. August, thank you. Reg Coats, thank you. Poplar Mechanic, thank you. Kiwi Climber, thank you. Thank you so much. Y'all, I studied y'all years and years ago, and y'all are the reason that John Howell's tree service is here. And I'll get into that on the next video. Thank you. I appreciate you.